A boatload of new content has just been released for Cities Skylines, including a free patch to the base game, new content for a number of existing DLCs, and 3 new content creator packs as part of Cities Skylines World Tour. Rather than just listing through all of the changes, I thought it might be fun to list the 5 best new features across all the updates in my opinion. So in today's episode, we're going to do just that, and then I'll mention some honorable mentions and why they didn't make it into the top 5. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Number 5, new roads. The new roads are divided between the base game update and the Mass Transit DLC. Yes, you heard me right. The Mass Transit DLC gets even more roads, and again, they're some of the best roads in the game. So with the base game update, you're going to get these roads right here, this 3-lane one-way road with a bus lane, and this 4-lane road with wide sidewalks with the sidewalk variant, the grassy terrace variant, and the tree-lined street variant. All very useful roads, but not nearly as good as the roads you get with the Mass Transit update. If you own the Mass Transit DLC, you get a bunch of asymmetric roads. Now, these could be incredibly helpful with managing traffic. Take, for instance, right here, where I have this 3-lane asymmetric highway. And what I was able to do is add this right here where I had a 2-lane road before, and now I have dedicated turn lanes going in each direction. It also comes with this 5-lane and 7-lane asymmetric road, and look what this is doing. We're going from 4 lanes right here to 3 in this direction, and that allows us to have dedicated left and right turn lanes. Right here on the other side on our arterial, this was a 6-lane, but now that I have this asymmetric road, we have a dedicated left-hand turn lane here and a dedicated right-hand turn lane and 2 through lanes. This is going to be incredibly important with traffic management, and this is something that I think is a game changer. So this makes the Mass Transit DLC one of the most important that you could pick up. In addition, it adds this 4-lane 2-way highway, this kind of expressway, which I believe in network extensions was referred to as a national highway. It is a really flexible and versatile roadway, and this is on top of the other roads that are already in the Mass Transit DLC. And if you need a refresher as to what comes with the Mass Transit DLC, it's the 2-lane bidirectional highway, the 2-lane one-way highway, as well as these 2-lane 4U roads, which also have a bus variant. So just a whole bunch of really great roadway assets that come with the Mass Transit DLC. In addition, you no longer have to choose between monorail and landscaping. That's right. Now, if you have monorail, you can have trees on the side of the road. You can also have a 6-lane road with monorail tracks down the center or a 4-lane road. Now, the one thing to remember with this is that if you have your stations in the middle of the road, those are on 4-lane roads. There's no 6-lane variant. So your usage of this right here, the 6-lane variant, might be limited. That said, the trees are great. Sunset Boulevard is going to be really excited to have these because now we can have trees going up and down there, which was always our intention. And then finally, if you have both Mass Transit and Snowfall, you get this road right here, which is a combination tram monorail road. You might think to yourself, wow, what is the use for this? This is it right here. So I had this monorail station stopped right in the middle of the road, and it was interrupting where the tram wanted to naturally go. So as a result, I had this large loop on local streets, and I wasn't able to interface directly between these 2 modes. Now I'm able to have this little segment right here, have the loop go around, and now my tram stop is directly in front of the monorail. So a very niche roadway network, but it could be very useful in certain instances. And right here it was. So I'm very excited to see this added to the game. All of that said, it really feels like this DLC is now mislabeled. I think that Mass Transit is one of the first DLCs that someone should pick up, but not for the transit options, which include monorail, ferries, blimps, some kind of niche stuff that you might not use in every city, but the roads you will use every single time. So if you do not have the Mass Transit DLC, it's on sale right now in the Steam Spring Sale, 40% off, run to pick it up. These roads are incredibly valuable. Number 4, transit improvements. First of all, you can now see the capacity of all transit vehicles. So when you go in to look at a route that you have, now you can see the capacity of all of the different types of vehicles that you could throw at that route. In the past, you could only see the capacity of some of the newer vehicles. So this is a really nice enhancement. In addition, you're getting a number of new vehicles. For Metro, for instance, you're getting 6 new vehicles with a variety of capacities, and you're also getting a new 240 capacity train. If you own the Mass Transit DLC, you will also be getting 2 new monorail options, one that's 120 capacity and one that's 240. And then finally, 4 new ferries, 10 capacity, 20, 30, and 40. This is probably the one decision I don't really understand. If anything, I wanted the ferries to have more capacity and draw more passengers, or carry vehicles or garbage or goods, something of that nature. Not this. But it's there, it's an option, and they do look very cool. And then the last big update is probably my favorite transit update, and I wanted to point this out because it's so subtle you could miss it. This road is lit up blue, and what that means is that this road has a bus lane. So you see it right here as well. So this could really help you figure out if your buses are on the right roads, and that shows up whenever you bring up the transport menu. So this would allow you to relocate those bus routes to the right roads and know that you're actually using all of these bus lane roads that you put in. So I think that's a huge update. I really wish this was available for bikes as well, but I'll take it for buses. Number 3, the Shopping Mall Content Creator Pack's zonable buildings. Might surprise you that this is number 3, but these are some incredible buildings. So King Lano put together 53 buildings that could really be used in a variety of different ways. So right here, you see that I have it in kind of a suburban strip kind of configuration where you get the parking behind it and the buildings up front. They are incredibly attractive. They almost look like wall-to-wall buildings that are less eccentric. I could see you doing something like this where they're standalone in a suburban context, maybe along an arterial or a collector, something you often see. Or you could do something like this. I've created a bit of a downtown Main Street sort of atmosphere, and I'm sprinkling these in with some office buildings. And they just fit really nicely. They're not all maxed out here, and it feels like a redevelopment Main Street. You could also fit this within a transit-oriented development, or even use them as outlot fillers near the mall. So they're very, very, very flexible assets, and I appreciate them for that. And on that note, you might be surprised that I didn't just say the whole Content Creator Pack generally. And the main reason for that is that all of the buildings that come with this, outside of the zonables, are unique buildings. And that's a real limitation in my opinion. Right here we have the mall, and it is an absolutely gorgeous asset. It's huge. And we have some of the other assets that come with this. Right here we've got this strip mall. We could place one of these. Just one. Because it's a unique building. I wish we could place more. We've also got this grocery store right here, which looks a lot like a Whole Foods. Beautiful asset, the exact kind of asset that I would look for in a modded build. And we've got this Food Plus, which I think is like a Kroger. But here's the thing, this is only useful in a modded build, in my opinion. If you're gonna make a sprawling region like Verde Beach, having 2 grocery stores is kind of silly. So I'm not sure that I would do much with these outside of make a gigantic mall with a couple of grocery stores and call it a day, when in reality, I'd love to have one of these serving each neighborhood. I think this is more useful in a modded build where you can clone these and have more than one. So that is the reason why it's not the entire Content Creator Pack that is number 3. It's just the zonable buildings. I think they're super flexible. They're absolutely gorgeous, and you're gonna use them all the time if you pick up this Content Creator Pack. Number 2 are the Sports Venue Content Creator Pack's new parks. That's right, this Content Creator Pack comes with 10 new parks. And in my opinion, they're even more valuable than the unique buildings that come with the Content Creator Pack. Right here, what I've done is created a high school campus. And I can do that now because of this Content Creator Pack. I've been wanting this forever. I love this. We've got a soccer field right here, a football field, and a baseball field. These are all from the new Content Creator Pack, and I was able to work them into this campus in vanilla, and it looks awesome in my opinion. And there are even more athletic fields, including this community baseball complex, which is absolutely beautiful, and these cricket fields. Basically, for every single sport, there's at least 2 options available to you, so it's really outstanding. And though I'm highlighting the parks that come with this Content Creator Pack, it's also worth pointing out that it comes with a number of absolutely stunningly beautiful stadiums, and they use the match day game mechanics, so you actually make money when you win games. So I absolutely adore this Content Creator Pack. It's one of the top in my opinion, might be the first one I pick up. And before we move on to number 1, let's talk about some honorable mentions, and I want to first start out with fire spreading. The mechanic has been calmed down considerably, and you can see it right here. No fire damage. And you might think that I've turned off disasters, but I have not. In fact, I kept them where I normally keep them, and I had a tornado, but I've not had any fires. So the probability is down. The intensity of the fires is less, and the fire helicopters carry twice as much water and fight fires twice as far away. The reason this is not on the list is it ends the Verde Beach memes, and I take personal offense to that. All of that said, I do think that this will make the Natural Disasters DLC more fun for people, so I'm really welcoming this change. Next honorable mention is new trees from Mr. Mason. Young linden meet young palm. I'm going to use these things everywhere. This is the baby version of the trees that Mr. Mason added as part of the airport's free update. So we've got the California palm right here in its adult version and the baby version. Absolutely love these. Going to use them all over the place. Probably more appropriate in the center of roads than these are in some cases, maybe in many cases. And we also receive a number of trees from Africa. So everything from this Lala palm to this flame tree, all available with the base game update. And I believe that a number of these trees, such as the baobab, are also in Australia. So it's nice to see some diverse geographic representation here, seeing some trees that are not just North American or European. Next honorable mention are search and UI improvements, and some of these were much needed. I'm going to start out with the things that I think are great. First of all, if you go into unique buildings, now when you're in the content creator pack section, you'll have these little icons and you can navigate to the exact content creator pack that you want to take a look at. This is incredibly helpful with the number of content creator packs that have been released, because sometimes you just want to stay within a certain content creator pack. Sometimes you know which content creator pack has an asset and you just can't narrow it down. And going through this gigantic menu is really, really frustrating. But now you can narrow it down right here, so that is very useful. Next, in the road menu, now you have the ability to narrow things based on whether it's bi-directional or one direction, whether it's a decorated road type, and that makes it much easier to find the roads that you're looking for. This is something that the game has needed for a long time, and I welcome this improvement. And then the last thing you might notice is this little search bar, which again, I'm really excited to see this. The one thing I don't love about this, and it's kind of a big thing, is that it's not a universal search, and it appears to be a universal search. So if I click in here, it says search assets. So I would think I could type in park, but look at the message right there. It says enter an asset name to find in this category. So if I type park in, I can't find any parks. I actually have to go click on parks, and then I could search for a specific park. So I find that to be kind of a strange limitation. I don't really understand why it's not a universal search. If it's not going to be a universal search, I don't understand why it doesn't say something like search parks instead of search assets. It is not a replacement for Find It too. And on the note of the search bar, I'm a little disappointed that we aren't able to search for things like this. So these ruins are available in the map editor, but you're not able to place them once you start a game in vanilla. So I thought that with the addition of the search bar, maybe we'd be able to search for these, but alas, we cannot. All of that said, I welcome these UI improvements. They're very, very useful. The next honorable mention is the Africa in Miniature Content Creator Pack generally. And I just want to start out by admiring how beautiful these assets are. They're absolutely expertly put together, very unique, vibrant colors, beautiful architecture, and very different from everything else in the game. And that is specifically why it's on the honorable mentions list and not in the top 5. As much as I love the way these look and ignore that this one's abandoned, that's my fault, I just don't love that these spawn in random commercial districts. It's the same reason that I knock the Art Deco and University City content creator packs, not because the assets aren't amazing, because they are. It's because they randomly spawn in your city and they don't really fit together, they clash. And I really don't like that there are 9 buildings that do this with this content creator pack. So we have these 7 that will spawn in your low density commercial districts, and we have these 2 that will spawn in your high density commercial districts. To me, that's just really strange. But the reason why it's doing this and not doing what the shopping malls content creator pack does, which is spawn within a district, is because there just aren't enough buildings to do that. Right here, there are buildings of a variety of sizes that can fit within the district and spawn regardless of the opening that is within that district. if we were to have a district for these buildings, there are no 1x1s, 2x1s, 3x1s, whatever. So as a result, there would be giant gaps in the district. So rather than letting that happen, there's just these 9 that are going to spawn randomly in your city. I almost wish this would have gone the way of the Seaside Resorts content creator pack and had a whole bunch of unique buildings and nothing that's growable. And then the part of this content creator pack that you'll probably derive the most value from is the unique buildings. And there are a number of unique buildings of a variety of sizes, everything from the city market to this conference center to faith-based buildings. So we got a couple of churches and tourist traps like this Royal Museum. It's a couple of snakeheads with a spider on top. That's a very specific design aesthetic. That said, I don't know that everyone is going to want this in their city. I think it's the kind of content creator pack that if this speaks to you, if this certain design aesthetic speaks to you, if you like building African cities that are very unique and different looking than what you have normally in Cities Skylines, then this might be the one that you're looking for. But I do think that the design choices clash with a lot of the other buildings in the game. And as a result, I probably won't use these a ton, but I do think that they are expertly designed. So it is a great content creator pack for certain people, but I think this one might be a little bit more polarizing than the other 2 content creator packs. Then the final honorable mention is all of the hubs that now come with the game. There are so many different hubs now, and I love the interface that you have available to you to sort through it. So if you want a monorail hub, you just click on monorail, and then you can also come over and select metro, and now you get a monorail and metro hub. Very cool interface. I really like the way this works. In particular, I love some of the new ship hubs. And check this out. This is a ferry, harbor, and bus terminal. Absolutely beautiful asset. Obviously, you have to have mass transit for this one because of the monorail, but this is the kind of thing that it's just amazing to see Colossal Order putting their time into this. It's really a nice salute to the fans of the game, and I really appreciate it. All of that said, these are very niche buildings. You won't use them in every city. I think they're nice to haves and not need to haves, and I'm really happy that we have them. And with that, drum roll please as we go to number 1. Parking lots. And before you say, this is how I know that City Planner is an American. Yes, we do have a lot of parking in America. Yes, it's bad, but it's also realistic. And unfortunately, it drives a lot of planning decisions. Parking is one of those necessary evils. If people are going to drive places, you've got to have a place to store their cars. So with the new base game update, you get 3 new parking lots. So you get these small lots right here. These are 2x4s. You can fit these almost anywhere, and I'll show you in a minute a couple places that I fit them. Then you also get this one right here, which is a 4x8, and it has these nice bushes and some lights. All of this is built in. And then finally, you get this decorative multi-story parking ramp, parking garage, and it comes with a couple of variations. Really, really love these assets, and they make your downtown feel a ton better, and your outskirts everywhere feels a little better with some parking. So check this out. You might remember this street from earlier in the video, and I've mixed a bunch of new stuff on this street. So we've got our 4-lane road with wide sidewalks and trees, King Leno's shopping mall buildings, and some parking. And it just feels awesome in my opinion. This feels like a main street type of environment, and one of the reasons it feels that way is parking is available for people who are going to go to the shops. That is a necessity in most of these areas. People won't even move into some of these buildings without it. But it also means that you can have buildings that don't have parking built in, and you can have that parking off to the side. And then in a more urban context, you could do something like this: replace buildings with parking, which does a couple of things. First of all, it feels realistic. As unfortunate as it is, there are often underutilized parcels in urban environments, and it does make it feel more realistic, especially in areas like this, to have a small parking lot in between a couple of buildings. You see that all the time in cities. All of that said, there is not a lot of variation available. You have this large parking lot and these narrow ones, and then the structured parking. I do wish that there was more variation, but I will take these 3. You can do a lot with these. And there we go. That was my top 5. Number 1, parking lots. Number 2, the sports venues, new parks. Number 3, the shopping mall, zonable buildings. Number 4, the transit improvements generally. And number 5, the new roads. How would your list look? What are the 5 best new features that came with this free update and the content creator packs? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And I really can't wait to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye-bye.